Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we are putting some new side panels on this food trailer. You can see those back panels there. They don't look that bad, but once we get the new ones on, completely kind of changes the look of this trailer. They probably could have used a good cleaning. They'd look a lot better right now, but it's really a nice little transformation. One of the fun things about this is the custom fabrication that you get to do, kind of take somebody else's vision, kind of what they want, and then you get to turn it into a reality. It's always kind of funny seeing what they think you should do versus, some experience fabricating and whatnot, and then kind of where, the project ends up in the end. So right here, we're just kind of going over what Matt wants on his trailer, and then Doug and I just get to turn it into a little piece of artwork. This skid steer was a game changer when I purchased it last summer, but it's still kind of a struggle to remember to try and use a piece of equipment to do the heavy lifting. So you'll see Doug here trying to muscle this thing. It had to weigh probably 300 or 400 pounds. It was oddly heavy, but Doug will still try and muscle it out of the truck, prove his manly strength. I'm just kind of standing by with the skid steer for a good part of it. And then he finally lets me step in with the tractor and help him get it out of the truck.
Pull it out from the other way. All right, so this is what we're working on today. Got another little food truck project. We're going to be doing a new outside on the back here. And then on the inside, you can see it's just the exposed outside and the supports. So we're putting a whole new inside piece on both sides. And then on the back gate, currently this is how the gate is open from the inside. And when we put this back panel on, that's not going to work for us anymore because we're going to cover this whole backside with another piece of stainless steel sheet. So what we're going to have doing is moving this to the inside, like centered on this, looks like 1.5 inch piece of square tube here. And then we'll just drill a hole in this one, drill a hole in this one, drill a hole in this top one, and then we'll put a pull ring up here that goes and ties down. Into that pull ring that'll be inside. And that's pretty much it. All right, so we're just out here learning things the hard way as usual. so let's see. Look at that right there. Yeah, that is not Torx. We originally tried a square into it, but I guess we tried too small of one. And then we tried a couple of easy out tools, which got one out and then snapped an easy out. So I got another easy out and snapped it off too. So it turns out it is in fact a number 2 square.
You gotta push hard.
Like that, but you have to push really hard. Yeah, learning the hard way. So now we got to get all those other ones out that I messed up, which is why we have the liquid wrench out now. So gonna weld some bolts, or gonna weld some nuts on, and then see if we can get them out.
Instead of cutting the whole thing or cutting it off,
bend
you
it
just
in.
tuck it in.
All right, so we got this temporarily hung up. We left the protective cover on here pretty much up until the point we're gonna pull it now and put the rivets in. We left it on there to protect this from getting scratched. It's stainless steel, so it should be fairly scratch resistant, but looking at the back side of these panels, it doesn't have the protective sheet. It says otherwise. So we put our nice lines on here and marked all of our holes, so all of our rivets will stay in line with each other and be even throughout. We'll do the same thing on the side. So, yep, it's time to pull the protective sheet off and finish our rivets.
So we left that protective sheet on the metal to protect it, like I said, but also we put our dots on there where holes are going to be, pre-drilled them, and then we pulled it off. And you can see me there using the pneumatic riveter. If you're doing any kind of rivet job that requires more than a couple of rivets, that thing is the way to go. And that's just a cheap Chinese one off of Amazon. It works really well, but it was such a struggle to get this protective sheet off. So this is 6x speed, and you can see how long it's going to take us. And all these sheets, this is a small sheet, all these sheets had that on there. That stuff just wanted to rip as you're pulling it down, so you got to do it very evenly. Yep, there's a rip right there. And then I was just anchoring as we went, so we were putting less stress on the couple of rivets at the tops. Ended up with kinks if you don't do that in the metal. And then we just finish up the rivets.
All right, so this is what we did for the rear door latch. just ended up doing, instead of a cable, as we previously were discussing between two of us, I just went with a solid rod that I had. So now when you pull that D-ring at the top, door opens, door closes.
So the owner wanted to use mirror sheets on the side here, and one of the issues that my buddy Doug here actually came up with. Back up a little bit. You want to keep your rivets nice and in a line, because if you don't, like, will you notice? Maybe, will somebody else notice? Maybe not. But I mean, if you do rivet work, you're going to notice that the rivets aren't in a line or even with each other. So pre-mark your rivets before you drill the holes, just to make sure they're all evenly measured and in a nice line going across. It's one of the issues that we came up with with this mirror finish that Doug pointed out. If we started riveting it toward the middle of the sheet, we're going to end up warping the sheet, and that mirror is just going to turn into what do you call those things? Those funny mirrors. So what we did instead was just rivet it around the outside, and even at the top there you can kind of see where it warped the mirror a little bit, or the mirror finish, when we riveted it. So yeah, we ended up just riveting around the outside and then using an adhesive on the middle part of the sheet on the inside. And that has most to do with the fact that the support material underneath it, those uprights, the 1 inch by 1 inch, is kind of all over the place.
All right, so this is kind of the final product on the outside here for now. Oh my gosh, that's a handsome guy. Anyway, it'll eventually get trim along the leading edge, the top, and down this side here. And then we decided, Doug had a great idea, let's not rivet the uprights in between, because it would just distort. Like you can see that distortion right there, necessary, and it'd be covered with trim. But if we would do that all throughout here, it would just look like trash. So we left it alone, and I had bought some adhesive, some Gorilla adhesive, like a tube of it that you put out of a caulking gun, prior to this project. I was going to glue these panels on anyway, just to keep them from moving around too much, kind of minimize the rivets that we need. But after hanging this panel and then popping that tube open, came inside to start squeezing it in what I assumed was going to be tiny little cracks. But yeah, so you saw on the outside how nice and kind of flat it was, and then we come on the inside and you can just see that gap increase. So that would have looked horrible had we done that. So I just shoved a bunch of that adhesive. Got a little messy here, but this will all be covered with the inside wall panel, so it's not a big deal. We're gonna let this set up, and then right before we pop the other one on, we'll throw some more in. You can see this gap down here. I mean, I can almost fit my finger in there. So, like I said, I'm glad we didn't rivet it in, because it would have really distorted and looked like trash. So, yep, good call on Doug's part. Next step is the outside wall on the other side, which we got to kind of hurry up because we're running out of daylight, and this is a one-day project right now. And then we got to do these two inside walls, which the inside walls are going to be a lot easier and go a lot quicker. It's thicker, it's not mirror finish, and it's just a basic cut a little rectangle out of to go over the wheel hump. But let's get to it.
Did you get? Yeah. Wait forward. Okay. Whenever you're happy.
I'm happy. About to get blinded on this one, bud.
Yeah. How's that top edge look? Is that good? How close are you at the top? On the other one?
Same.
At the round?
Yeah. We need to go forward a little more to fill that gap.
I mean,
I can afford to go forward.
okay.
Ready?
Yep.
There. Good?
Yeah, I'll buy that for $1.
Oh, the sun side.
You just rotate the trailer.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up. Doug's in there peeling the last of the coating off of the inside panels. But we'll do a quick walk around before we got to turn this thing back over to its owner. And we might see it back on the channel. I don't know. Let's talk about trim work and a couple other things. So we'll see. But really, a lot of the trim isn't even going to be necessary, in my opinion. A top piece would look good. But, you know, we cut everything nice and square in there. So I don't really think you need a whole bunch of trim on this at this point. So this is this side. We'll hit the other side real quick. This is the other side. Nice and shiny, all done. And then here's the gate latch all finished up. The back panel complete. There's Doug. I stuffed him with the work that I didn't want to do. And then here is the inside panel. Cut out nicely for the wheel well there, and then riveted in. And then here's this side. But that wraps up this project. So now it's time to clean up